This is not what Broncos fans want to see, as Denver is now riding on back-to-back walk-off losses to the Colts and the Chargers. And now that the Broncos are 1-2 and have lost back-to-back one-score, very close walk-off games, it sets a concerning precedent for the remainder of the season as to whether or not the Broncos are going to be able to figure out how to play a complete 4 quarters of football, if they're going to be able to win one-score games against strong teams, and if they are going to have a drop-off of the improvement that we saw last season, in which they clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2015. We're going to break down all things Chargers Broncos today here on Broncos Digest, talk about some of the moments leading up to this loss, and whether or not Broncos fans and just the team in general should be concerned looking forward as far as what the Broncos are going to be able to accomplish now that they are sitting at a 1-2 record this season. Before we dive into everything Chargers Broncos, want to make sure you guys are subscribed to the fastest growing source for Broncos news and updates and rumors here on Broncos Digest on YouTube. Look at this crazy stat here. 97% of our viewers every single day not subscribed to the channel. Only 2% of you guys are a part of that 108 subscriber count that we're at right now. This channel is only about 2 weeks old, already past 100 subscribers, wanting to try to grow all the way up to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So join the Broncos Digest family. Help us grow into the strongest, fastest, largest source for the Denver Broncos. We appreciate your guys' support very much. Let's dive into all things in this AFC West matchup, in which the Chargers have now swept the AFC West in their first 3 games. Just the way that the scheduling worked out for the Chargers this year, their first 3 games of the season in order were the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Broncos. And they were able to take care of all 3 of them and have their first 3-0 start in over 20 years. That is insane for the Chargers. And coming from obviously a very big Broncos fan myself here, and also a very big Chiefs hater, this is definitely not as upsetting to see. Obviously, I would have loved for us to be able to beat the Chargers yesterday, and I'm always rooting against the Chargers, especially when the Broncos are playing them. But compared to just all of the hype around the Chiefs, I'm definitely a little bit less disgusted by the fact that the Chargers are taking over this division. But still, nonetheless, I really was upset with the way that the Broncos ended the game yesterday, and I really think that a lot of mistakes and a lot of moments in this game yesterday could have ultimately granted us the win over LA. Let's dive into Bo Nix and some of his stats yesterday, specifically his passing, not only his completions, but his attempts and his yards throughout the day yesterday. He was 14 for 25, only 153 passing yards. He did have a passing touchdown. It was a beautiful passing touchdown on 4th and 2, 52-yard bomb to a wide open Courtland Sutton way downfield, which was the only passing touchdown of the day. But other than that, a lot of struggles and a lot of missed passes for Bo Nix. He didn't have any turnovers, which is the first time that's happened all season. That was a high for sure. But definitely lacking in the passing still is Bo Nix. He hasn't found his groove yet this season. Only 14 completions, only 25 attempts too, not passing the ball as much, not having as many opportunities to do so, and only 153 yards compared to Justin Herbert, who had a very strong day in the pass column, 28 for 47, 28 completions. That's a really strong day for a quarterback, considering the fact that he tried 47 different passes too. That's a really good aspect of his game in terms of what Justin Herbert was able to do against the Broncos. And then he had essentially double the passing yards that Bo Nix had, 300 yards on the day for Justin Herbert, 1 passing touchdown. He did throw that interception. Broncos defense got their first interception of the season. That was a high note to see. But Justin Herbert once again outplayed the quarterback that he was dueling against. He's already done that twice against the Chiefs and the Raiders. And here he is again doing it against Bo Nix. And this is an example of where Bo Nix was primarily struggling. This is 3 deep ball opportunities that the Broncos had throughout yesterday's game, where a receiver ran a very strong route, got open deep in the backfield, got himself space to catch a ball and get way up into the offensive zone to create ample scoring opportunities, and Bo Nix is missing these throws. I believe this is Marvin Mims, Courtland Sutton, and Marvin Mims in these 3 pictures. I think Court is on the top, and then it's Marvin Mims in the middle and on the bottom. That's 3 opportunities where Bo Nix had a wide open receiver in the backfield deep with plenty of space, and he isn't timing those throws correctly. Obviously don't want to be too hard on Bo, but those opportunities right there are opportunities in which you're creating a place to score and get ahead and open up that margin and make it, more than a 1-score game. And, he wasn't able to take care of those opportunities. There was even a video circulating on social media of him mouthing the words, it was something along the lines of like, I had so many opportunities. I missed so many opportunities today. So he knows it too. He knows that he's struggling and that he's not able to put these balls right in the basket of these receivers and try to find the way to get in the groove and find the passing game that he knows he has. Here's another major issue of the Denver Broncos throughout not just this game, but this season. I thought that this X post was pretty comical in terms of encompassing this issue. So many penalties, so many flags. This has got to be corrected. It has to be stopped because these penalties that the Broncos are mistaking and making, not only is it hurting us on offense, but it is giving the other offense that we're playing against in whatever game it is, whether it's the Titans, the Colts, the Chargers, it's giving them so many opportunities to create offense, to get a fresh set of downs, and to ultimately get themselves all the way downfield and score. The penalties need to be corrected. We need to play clean defense and get clean stops, and we need to make clean offensive plays as well. As a football fan, as a Broncos fan, one of the most painful things to watch is when a quarterback makes a very strong play on offense out of the pocket, makes a good throw downfield, finds an open man, and that is ripped away from you because an offensive lineman or a blocker makes a stupid holding call or some sort of a penalty on the line that completely nullifies that amazing play. We need to correct the penalties. That's another big issue that Denver has right now, and it's contributed to the fact that they've lost now 2 straight really close games to really good teams. So disappointing stuff there. And I thought that this take from Zach Stevens at DNVR, it is so accurate. It's the same shit, different week, different year. That's what pisses him off. That's what pisses everybody off the most in this situation. Every single year, the Broncos play 50 minutes of good football, and then in the last 10 minutes, they just forget that they're playing football. Like, somebody needs to go in the locker room and remind this team, just so you guys know, like, there's 4 quarters of football. It's not just 3. Like, you don't stop playing after the 3rd quarter because that's when all the penalties happen. That's when we give up that last score, and that is when another team is able to come out and win football games because the Broncos are turning off the intensity and they're not taking care of business in the last quarter of the game. And I completely agree with this take from Zach Stevens. It's the same exact thing every single week, every single year. Like, I'm sitting here as a Broncos fan thinking about these last 2 losses, and I'm like, what is in store for the rest of the season? What do we have to expect? What is about to happen? Because it's not looking good. I'm definitely concerned. And J.K. Dobbins had a really nice quote. He encompassed everything going on with the season really well here as well. He said, "We're losing the game. It's not that the other team is beating us. We are losing the game." And that is 100% the story of the season so far. The Broncos didn't get blown out by the Chargers. They didn't get blown out by the Colts. They didn't get beat by the Colts or the Chargers. I mean, in the loss column and on the stat sheet, yes, they lost, but they're making costly mistakes and they're losing these games themselves. This is not a other team issue. This is a coaching and an execution issue. And that's the most frustrating aspect of what's going on for the Denver Broncos so far this season. Despite the loss, though, a lot of positivity in the locker room and looking forward. A few quotes from some of the guys after the close 1-score loss to the Chargers. J.K. Dobbins backing up his quarterback in Bo Nix. He didn't miss no throws. He played a great game. I have his back. It's a team game, and we lost as a team. We have got to make plays for him. I love this locker room aspect in the sense that players like J.K. Dobbins, who had a good game, I mean, he scored a rushing touchdown, had that kind of revenge aspect going back to Los Angeles for the first time. he is backing up his quarterback. The morale and the team feel in the locker room, that's up there, that's high. But I do think that a lot of receivers, a lot of offensive players made good plays for Bo Nix, and he wasn't able to execute. I do think there were some opportunities where Bo Nix had strong points throughout the game, but his offense didn't back it up. But nevertheless, good to see that players are still sticking with each other and that nobody's getting frustrated with one another and that things aren't getting out of hand in a teamwork aspect in the locker room. And then Courtland Sutton, just a few minutes after the loss, he's already looking forward. He's already got his eyes on the prize for the next few weeks. We can't dwell on this loss too much. We know the talent that we have in this room. We know what we're capable of. We lost 2 really close games, but it's still early in the season. There's a lot of opportunities ahead of us. And despite the tough losses over these last few weeks, I do love the fact that Courtland Sutton is looking forward and looking ahead and trying to keep a good mindset now that there are some other games to look forward to in the next few weeks. I mean, the next game that the Broncos have against the Bengals, Monday Night Football. Bengals are missing Joe Burrow, and they got torched by the Minnesota Vikings this last week. So hopefully, I think people are already saying that there's a lot of confidence that the Denver Broncos will be able to come into this game and handfully win against the Bengals. But I mean, you can't go into it with that mindset. That was the mindset going into the Titans game, and that was a 1-score game that was, I was on the edge of my seat for that entire time, even though we did end up scraping out the win. But hopefully a little bit less daunting of opponent can set the standard right again for the Denver Broncos as we look ahead to Monday Night Football. Should be a good game. But once again, hopping on this channel, making some content with a disappointed mindset, considering the Broncos have now lost back-to-back 1-score walk-off games and have a losing record on the season. Thanks for tuning in to Broncos Digest, everybody. Appreciate the support. We'll be hitting you with videos all week covering the Denver Broncos, everything around injury reports, score predictions, pregame videos, all of that stuff. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe, and thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day.